You're welcome back to the news at 10, live from Abuja. Now, away from the U.S. presidential election, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Ondo State, Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, has given the assurance that if elected, he would focus on empowering the youths to promote farming and industrialization. Mr. Akeredolu made this promise when he visited Akure North and Ondo West local government areas of his state. The APC flag bearer added that he would not petition any program of incumbent government that is of benefit to the people.
It's less than 3 weeks to the November 26th governorship election in Ondo State. The All Progressives Congress is leaving no stone unturned to ensure victory at the polls. Having covered all local government areas in the state, the campaign train again makes its way to Akure North local government area, this time to canvass for the votes of people at the grassroots. As the team moves from Ogbese town to Iluabo, the reception is the same. First, the APC flag bearer, Rotimi Akeredolu, a senior advocate of Nigeria, stops at the palace of the traditional ruler to pay homage and seek the support of the palace ahead of the election. At Obaile, men and women, young and old, are in jubilation mood to receive the flag bearer. For Mr. Akeredolu, if elected, programs presently run by the present administration that have positive bearing on the lives of the people of Ondo State will not be discarded.
What I believe is that if Kadigbeayo is meant as an identity for Ondo State indigene, so be it. But that if it's now deployed to other use or whatever form of use they deploy it to that is detrimental to the people, we will stop it.
Some party chieftains on the train believe that victory of the party at the polls is very possible.
Ondo State has been playing opposition party for the last 8 years, and it is high time we move to join the mainstream of Nigerian politics. And our people are responding.
This is a government that is going to think anew and act anew. And it's a government that will lead our people out of this economic downstride.
Part of Mr. Akeredolu's program for the people of Akure North local government includes assisting the youths to embrace farming and promoting industrialization.
Once we concentrate on agriculture and our people and our young ones buy into it, we have a buy-in from them, we'll prepare the grounds for them and co. And they know that there is money in agriculture, they go into it, it will be a different thing in this state.
As the days go by and the APC campaign train journeys through the state at the ward level, the party remains hopeful that the electorate would give its candidate that chance to lead them for the next 4 years.
Meanwhile, in Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike has raised an alarm over what he described as a calculated ploy to sweep the matter of the printing of fake INEC materials in the state under the carpet. The governor, who is briefing journalists in Port Harcourt, the state capital, explained that the matter has been moved to Zone 6 Police Command, a move he adds may jeopardize investigations. Governor Wike asked the electoral umpire to use this opportunity to reaffirm its credibility, which he thinks has been threatened by inconclusive elections. And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Joma.
All right, thanks for that, Linda. Still ahead on the news at 10, as global financial markets reverse early losses following Donald Trump's victory, the Nigerian Stock Exchange remains in negative territory. And that's on business. Do join us again. Okay, now before we go on that break, let's take something else pretty quickly. Let's look at the state of education in a particular state in the country. It's a priority for residents of Kwara State, but some schools in Ilori, in the state capital, are in a deplorable condition, prompting the residents to cry out for help. Our community report tonight focuses on the effect of this situation on the learning environment in the state.
Etisalat, now you're talking. Pupils and students off to school early in the morning.
But what awaits them at their place of learning leaves much to be desired. Blown off roofs, fallen walls and lack of basic furniture in some schools in Ilori, Kwara State. Several schools within the state capital appear to suffer similar fate. At Akere Biata Local Government Education Authority School, pupils are seen on the bare floor due to non-availability of furniture. There is also a shortage of classrooms, prompting pupils to take classes in turns.
The man-made that can make anything with his own iron.
We need some materials like infrastructure, that is furniture, more furniture for the pupils. We need the government to rebuild more classrooms. And the one that we have one dilapidated building that we're supposed to, we want government to help us in that.
In Sobi Alagbado Junior Secondary School, construction is ongoing. This has forced the students who have no choice to attend classes underneath this shade. 37 years ago, the people of Elerinjari village in Ifelodun local government, through communal efforts, built this school that has now become a shadow of itself. The once flourishing laboratory, well-stocked library and hostels have been totally neglected.
Some time ago we wrote to the government to come to our aid, because the community there's nothing we can do right now because regards the present economic condition of the country.
The Dean, Faculty of Education at the University of Ilori explains the impact of all these on the pupils and students.
Mind you, in educational management, educational facility, along with many others, is an input. And you know, when input is in jeopardy, there cannot be good output.
But the State Commissioner for Education and Human Capital Development has an explanation for all these, stating the state is aware of the infrastructural deficiencies in most schools.
There are 30 schools already slated for renovation, and that one is in 2016 budgets. The one we are compiling for now is going into 2017 budgets. Certainly, government is very much aware that our schools needs to be retouched.
No country can develop beyond the level of attention it pays its educational system. And to think the future of the nation lies in the hands of these young ones, adequate arrangement may have to be considered to stem the current trend in these schools.
Etisala, now you're talking.
Another look at our lead story on the U.S. presidential election. Let's get an economic perspective now. And as Donald Trump's promises to put America first, and that propelled him to the U.S. presidency, but it has also unleashed uncertainty on the global economy. Financial markets reacted quickly and negatively, but most global markets reversed early losses. Now let's get that economic perspective now, and joining me is an economist and the CEO of financial derivatives company, Mr. Bismarck Rwani. He joins me from Abuja. Thanks so much, Mr. Rwani, for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you, Joma, for having me.
All right, now the markets reacted quickly, sharply. We saw them go up and down. Just give us what your perspective is on what has happened to the financial markets globally today.
Actually, the market believed that this result was extraordinary and stunning. So initial reaction was volatility. People actually took very short positions. And immediately after, they realized that there's a big difference between the rhetoric and the campaign, Donald Trump, and the president, Donald Trump. Then people began to settle down. But basically, you got to look at it from the context of Donald Trump's isolationist, protectionist, and transactional background, and the way he's going to dimension global issues. That is what led to the first reaction. But you know, markets have always priced in this variable there, and I don't see any reason why anybody should be very concerned about the long-term viability of these markets.
Okay, should we be concerned over here in Nigeria and in Africa? Is this going to put our standing in terms of trade in a better place with a Trump presidency? What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, the new global financial and trade order is that you have to show that you have the resilience of the economy to extract maximum value. Donald Trump is going to be, like I said earlier on, protectionist, isolationist, and transactional. And whatever you're going to get from the United States or the global economy, for that matter, will depend on how much you're putting back in, putting on the table. So the days of having geopolitical transactions that are based on emotion and sentiment are over. And therefore, Nigeria has to look at itself, because today Nigeria controls only 0.5% of global trade, and principal export being oil, and that itself does not leave you with so much leverage. So you now have to be much more competitive and resilient and versatile, so that you can now begin to extract maximum value from the global value chain. But having said that, it means that Nigeria has to begin to believe and put forward a very strong and consistent economic strategy that will make the world take you seriously. I think that is what is there. And like you saw today, after Brexit and after what has happened in Europe and what is happening, you have to look at three major events that have to determine the future. One will be the standing of OPEC and the stability in the Gulf of Arabia and the Middle East. Two will be what happens at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York in terms of what is going to happen to interest rates. And three will be what will happen to the value of the dollar. All of these things will determine how Donald Trump, when he comes in on January 20, begins to lead his economy. He'll put together a team, I believe, made up of strong people with Wall Street background, people with strength in global and international trade. And this means that every country has to put their best step forward and actually begin to negotiate from a position of strength based on your economic resilience, like I said earlier on, and also the potential to actually enjoy rapid growth. So for Nigeria, for example, you have to have a clear path out of the recession, and also begin to begin to negotiate as you diversify your economy away from oil dependence and oil and gas dependence into a much more sustainable range of exports as the case may arise.
All right, CEO of Financial Derivatives, Mr. Bismarck Rwani, thanks for sharing your thoughts on the news at 10 tonight. And still ahead on the news at 10, global financial markets reverse early losses. Even though we've had that analysis, we'll have a bit more on that analysis on Business News. Join us again.